Hi, it's me again. That guy who keeps talking about Price Lab. You might be surprised to see me now that the Board of Regents has voted to close the school. But I'm not quite finished yet. And hopefully, neither is Price Lab. But that's not the only reason I'm here. See, I've heard a lot of talk lately. A lot of folks have brought up a good point. UNI needs more money in general. That I should be mad at legislation for cutting funding to education year after year after year after year. And I am. And I was actually going to redirect my attentions in this video, in an attempt to bring people together, to move the focus from Price Lab to UNI as a whole. And maybe I'll make a video about that later. But people haven't stopped at support UNI, not just Price Lab. They think I should support Ben Allen, that I should just accept that Price Lab is closing, that I should basically just get over it and move on. Maybe you think I've been being irrational, holding on to Price Lab for longer than I should. I know some of you have been disappointed in me. You think Ben Allen has made the best decisions he could in the situation. You think I should be mad at the legislature, and not at him. You think that I should just accept that Price Lab is closing. You think that I should look at the opportunities that this offers UNI, and that I should seize the day. Well, let me tell you something, headshakers. I'm disappointed in you. You see, I will be the first to admit that I'm not well informed on a lot of issues. In fact, most of you folks posting that inane drivel about Ben Allen's earnest consideration of what is best for UNI are the people I usually turn to for information. But I do not make YouTube videos or declare my opinion publicly before I do some research. How many documents on Price Lab do you have on your computer? How many sections of Iowa's code regarding Iowa's Research and Development School have you copied, saved, and studied? How many of you have witnessed this debacle firsthand from day one? It seems like people are reading snippets of articles here and there. Inspirational quotes about the exciting future of the College of Ed and UNI in general. The exciting opportunities that change can bring. Maybe you just read a headline? Ben Allen outlines his plans for cuts at UNI and failed to notice that his plans don't actually exist after the cuts? Or maybe the other headline that people seem to be disappointed in. UNI teacher ed faculty votes no confidence on Ben Allen, Regents. Does it really seem likely that a group of educated adults made a decision like that because they were throwing some sort of tantrum? Or does it perhaps have more to do with them being, quote, very dissatisfied with the process, and thinking that incorrect data was used? Or perhaps it's simply that no one actually knows what data was used. Our best guess? A very general estimate generated 4 years ago, which doesn't take into account any repairs or changes to the school since then. These estimated costs also don't include the expected income from the continuously increasing enrollment at Price Lab. They don't seem to have any specific figures on what sort of stipend will be paying Waterloo and Cedar Falls teachers to take on Level 2 students, while we no longer have the income per student that we receive from the state. Also not mentioned in this discussion, the fact that the only 2 research and development objectives that the school has failed to achieve are the 2 that were the responsibility of President Allen and his administration. After questions arose about the numbers used to determine Price Lab's cost to the university, suddenly we had another concern on the table. Maybe Price Lab isn't the best model for our teacher education program. Here's a shocking agreement. Maybe it isn't. I don't have the research on the best professional development models. What I do have, however, is common sense. Let's go out on a limb and say that Price Lab isn't the best model. Fine. Let's compare the Price Lab model to the model that President Allen would like to transition to. What's that? He doesn't have one? Well, gosh, let's see. Raise your hand if you think it's a good idea to completely shut down the old system before you've come up with a new one. Anyone? Maybe we have enough time to set something up before Price Lab closes? How long has the Price Lab model been being refined and revised? Oh, at least 60 years? Well, how long do we have until we want to close it? Less than 5 months. Gosh, this kind of management doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Okay, enough sarcasm. Let's get real. This situation has been handled badly. Here are the 2 main concerns. From a financial standpoint, the data used to make this decision has been called into question, and has not been verified reliably. From an educational standpoint, we have a model of teacher education that is working rather well, for the most part, and we are currently in the process of shutting down a large part of it without having any plans to replace that part. There has been little to no communication from Allen to Price Lab or UNI faculty. President Allen will still not disclose who he consulted when making his decision. And I won't even begin to get into how shady the situation with the Board of Regents seems. Look, you can tell me I shouldn't be angry with Allen because the budget cuts aren't his fault. You can ask me where I was 5 years ago when the legislation started cutting into our funding. You can ask me why I haven't been this upset when my tuition has gone up again and again. Here's my take. Tuition increases happen. I'm not thrilled with them, but they're somewhat expected. Cutting a giant part of the College of Education without any communication or a solid plan shouldn't happen. If Alan had asked me for help, I'd have made him a video, but instead he didn't ask anyone for help. He just shoved a unilateral decision down all of our throats, and hoped that people would just read snippets of articles. But I've been watching, and you should be too. This isn't about Price Lab. This is about leadership. It's about accountability, and it's about you and I. When our largest college suddenly has a chunk taken out of it, that's not the time to celebrate new opportunities. That's the time to ask serious questions. And when those questions aren't clearly answered, that's the time to lose confidence. I certainly have.